I'm gonna blow this whole sick mess wide open. I'm gonna clear my name.
In today's episode, we're gonna take a retrospective look at the revolutionary film Sin City. We'll talk a bit about the highs, some of the lows, the stacked cast of Hollywood alumni, and, of course, the efforts made behind the camera to create this pop culture cinematic staple. Let's begin.
You're alone. You're all alone.
She was murdered and I was right here when it happened, lying next to her.
Care for a smoke?
It's one thing for you to play hard to get, but don't go trying to cut my nuts off.
Director Robert Rodriguez has had his share of hits and misses over his multi-decade-long career. To think that the director of Shark Boy and Lava Girl is the same visionary filmmaker that brought us the Mexico trilogy and Alita Battle Angel is somewhat of a strange thought. But then again, when you own your own studio as a true independent filmmaker, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
I could pump you full of bullets right now and I wouldn't even be arrested.
Lucky for us, in 2005, Rodriguez and Frank Miller joined forces to adapt Miller's masterpiece graphic novel series Sin City into a theatrical film. Oh yeah, and did I mention that Quentin Tarantino was there too?
No, just that last part you did again, all right?
This is the old days, man, the bad days, the all or nothing days.
Fans of the Sin City books are aware of Miller's unique, semi-monochromatic panels with only a few bold pops of color for certain scenes and images. And much like Zack Snyder's 300, Rodriguez set out to deliver a movie that would be a direct visual translation of the original art. As you can imagine, this was going to be a daunting task that would require mass amounts of creativity, technology, imagination, inspiration, and, of course, money.
I'm even putting up cash of my own to get you more surgery. Fix that heart condition of yours.
Between Dimension Films and Rodriguez's own Troublemaker Studios, the film was able to raise a budget of $40 million US, which is considered cheap for a comic book film, let alone a comic book film with this level of visual intrigue. But of course, the world of Sin City deserved its best shot at being brought to life, so Rodriguez called on Frank Miller from the very beginning to co-direct the project, as well as act as a level of quality control. After all, according to Robert Rodriguez when discussing the making of the movie, it's less of an adaptation and more of a translation. You see, from the beginning, this movie's main goal was to take the darkly noir imagery from the Miller books and put A-list actors in the place of these characters to read the words exactly as they were written. On top of that, to capture the highly unique visual style of the movie, mostly green screens and compositing were used to overlay black and white images and colored images together in the same frame.
And if there weren't so many people here about, I would show you how I'm gonna make dear old Nancy scream.
In fact, many of these scenes were shot and edited as proof of concept before the movie was even in production, which meant that instead of these A-list actors, a lot of times we're looking at stand-ins. But thanks to Miller's comic book panel style, you can't really tell.
Just give me the woman! Shut up.
Sin City is the kind of movie that since its release in 2005 has been imitated but never successfully duplicated. Despite receiving a sequel nearly a decade later, this movie and Rodriguez's intense grindhouse noir style seems to have caught lightning in a bottle when it comes to the utter magic of Sin City.
Here I'd figured you'd forgotten all about me.
Containing an all-star lineup of actors ranging from personal friends and collaborators like Elijah Wood, Josh Hartnett, and Carla Gugino, to other recognizable stars like Mickey Rourke, Bruce Willis, Jessica Alba, and Clive Owens.
I followed them here to make sure he didn't hurt any of the girls.
Not to mention Brittany Murphy, Rosario Dawson, Michael Madsen, Michael Clark Duncan, and the list goes on and on.
None of that stops the bastard from being absolutely right.
The film is an anthology that sort of catalogs the life and times of some of Sin City's underbelly residents. This includes adaptations of The Yellow Bastard, where Bruce Willis plays a nearly retired detective who embarks on an 8-year mission to rescue Nancy, played by Jessica Alba, from the clutches of a serial rapist and murderer.
It's not wise at all to make fun of me like that.
Then there's The Customer Is Always Right, which is really just a quick showcase in essentially 2 scenes of Josh Hartnett just doing his thing, so that's pretty cool.
I'll never know what she was running from. I'll cash her check in the morning.
Then there's my personal favorite, The Hard Goodbye, in which Mickey Rourke plays Marv, a rough street brawler with brain damage who wakes up next to a friendly escort to find that she's been murdered.
No reason at all to play it quiet. No reason to play it any way but my way.
He then scraps and kills his way up the chain of crime until he avenges the murder of his only friend. Tragic ending for this one, but by the way, that's the case for pretty much all of these stories. All except for the final one, the big fat kill.
You're making a big mistake, man. A big mistake.
Yeah?
This one features yet another trip into Sin City to follow a local tough guy who both starts and ends a war between the police,
The cops.
the mob, and a neighborhood full of hookers that, trust me fellas, you do not want to f with.
Hey!
These stories all have the same visual style, as well as the same noir writing style that calls back to 1950s detective stories. Since the movie wouldn't be deviating from the original source material, the actors all had their work cut out for them in terms of learning their lines. But the incredible amount of augmentation done to some of the film's more memorable characters like Marv and of course the yellow bastard himself, Rourke Jr., no relation, Rodriguez and Troublemaker Studios always seem to be on the forefront of technology when it comes to what's possible for filmmaking on a budget. And when it comes to things like makeup and effects, what better way to pinch some pennies than to make it all in-house?
You bought a few extra minutes. There's still a chance, Nancy.
Troublemaker Studios in Austin, Texas is an incredible workshop slash film studio slash film set slash editing bay slash theater slash everything.
This is what we do as filmmakers when we see on set all day. You know, we're talking here, but we see, no, there's a camera guy there, there's a guy there monitoring sound, and we're here pretending like they're not there.
I've actually toured this place and taken selfies with some of the costumes worn in this movie. Mickey Rourke's facial prosthetics and wig rendered this man nearly unrecognizable if not for that wonderfully gruff voice.
I love hitmen. No matter what you do to them, you don't feel bad.
As far as the impact this movie had on cinema, the box office lit up with excitement and cold hard cash, reaching over $150 million on a budget of just 1/3 of that. Miller and Rodriguez had a certified hit on their hands. And the film would receive praise from general audiences who found the bizarre style of the film to be refreshing from other comic book fare at the time, while also providing a detailed and visually pleasing world to get sucked into for these twisted tales.
He ate their souls. And I joined in.
And then, of course, fans of the books who eagerly awaited the release also seemed to really enjoy it, which helped to propel the film into a highly successful physical release and added to the movie's overall legacy. Shortly preceding this film, we'd see the rise of certain imitators like the dreadful Max Payne starring Mark Wahlberg, and even Frank Miller's The Spirit, which makes similar attempts to capture the style, but without Rodriguez to really bring it all home.
You're giving me a headache, Octopus.
For the most part, this movie holds up well as a slice of movie history that stands out from others of its kind. It sports one of the greatest casts in comic book films, or any film for that matter, and it pays homage to gritty noir thrillers of old while delivering all the blood and guts that you want from a grindhouse outing.
A worthy concern. Neatly elucidated.
And above all, it's an extension of something that was created out of raw passion by one of the greatest minds in comic book history. It was a risk to make this movie, and an even bigger risk to make it in the style that they made it. But if you ask me, this one was special and will always be important. And that's what the f*** happened to Sin City.
Shoot me now, or get the hell out of my way.
screams. Something hits me square in the chest. There's no up or down. I don't weigh a thing.
In 2005, Robert Rodriguez changed the way we look at comic book movies forever with Sin City, his picture-perfect adaptation of Frank Miller's graphic novel series. It was such a passion project for Rodriguez that he even resigned from the Directors Guild so that he could share directing credit with Miller himself.
This movie was going to be so different from how regular movies were shot that it got into trouble with the DGA, who said, oh, well, co-directors can't have co-directors.
The movie, of course, was a box office success, making $158 million worldwide off of a modest $40 million budget. But more importantly, it gave us a thrillingly unique example of how green screen technology could be utilized. Put simply, you've never seen a graphic novel come to life quite like Sin City. And naturally, with a wealth of source material still available to them, Rodriguez and Miller would want to make a sequel to their hit movie. And they did, although it took a whole lot longer to come to life than anybody initially expected. Hope you're ready to travel back to that hard luck metropolis known only as Bassin City, because we're gonna find out what the f happened to Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Now, Rodriguez and Miller were so confident that they were going to get going on a sequel to Sin City that they announced work on it before the first flick even came out. When the film had its premiere at the 2005 Cannes Film Festival, Rodriguez stated that he and Miller were going to adapt Miller's famous Sin City book, A Dame to Kill For. The plan was always to bring back some of the first film's most memorable characters, whether they survived or died, as the new film would serve as both a prequel and a sequel to its predecessor. In March of 2007, Frank Miller said during an interview that he and Rodriguez had gotten the script just about ready and were planning on shooting it in June.
There's just something holding it up. It's some money thing, you know.
Obviously, things did not work out that way, and it would be several more years of will they won't they pseudo updates on the anticipated follow-up. But it's clear looking back that Rodriguez and Miller were always eager to get to work on it. In 2007, Rodriguez was so confident in the imminent production of Sin City 2 that he was already looking ahead at Part 3. The director revealed he and Miller were planning on adapting Hell and Back, the longest and one of the most popular Sin City stories, for the third film. Rodriguez mentioned that he was envisioning Johnny Depp to play Hell and Back's protagonist, Wallace. As he'd wanted Depp to star as Jackie Boy in the first film but missed out, Rodriguez saw Wallace as the perfect vehicle for this actor. Additionally, Rodriguez mentioned that he wanted to bring longtime friend and collaborator Antonio Banderas into the fold and was looking at the many characters in Sin City in an effort to find the perfect fit for him. Well, as of this writing, Sin City 3 does not look to be in the works. As for A Dame to Kill For, it would take several more years before things really got moving on the sequel. In August of 2011, a little over 6 years since the first film's release, it was announced that Oscar-winning scribe William Monahan, best known as the writer of The Departed, had come on board to work on the long-gestating Sin City 2 screenplay. At the time, Rodriguez said Monahan was brought in to, quote, round out the script and solve some problems. It seemed as though connecting the various stories and characters together were the main issues Monahan was brought in to correct. Rodriguez seemed confident that the script was just about in fighting shape and said they were hopefully going to get ready for production soon after. It took almost another year, but finally in April 2012, almost exactly 7 years to the date after the first film's release, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For was officially announced. In the press release, Rodriguez said the long wait was thanks to getting together something that was truly exceptional, something that would be worth the wait for the fans hungry for another trip to Bassin City. The expectation was for the film to go into production summer of 2012, with many familiar faces returning, to be joined by some intriguing new faces. So who would be inhabiting Sin City this time around? Our familiar faces included Mickey Rourke, Bruce Willis, Jessica Alba, Jamie King, Powers Booth, and Rosario Dawson. Several characters from the first film would return, but with new faces. Dennis Haysbert replaced Michael Clark Duncan as the brutish Manute due to Clark's tragic, untimely passing. Jamie Chung replaced Devin Aoki thanks to the latter's pregnancy. Jeremy Piven replaced Michael Madsen in the role of Bob, and Josh Brolin was now tackling the role of Dwight, played by Clive Owen in the first film. Although this casting made sense thanks to the fact that the character undergoes radical facial reconstruction at the end of his segment in the new film. Owen was originally supposed to return as the transformed Dwight at the end, but scheduling would not permit it, hence Brolin portrayed the character post-surgery as well. A new and important character written specifically for the film was Johnny, a wily gambler on a mission to topple one of Sin City's most corrupt figures. Joseph Gordon-Levitt snagged the role after allegedly coming very close to playing Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy. Some reports even speculated he turned down the Marvel movie in favor of the Rodriguez one. Oof. As for the most crucial new character, the seductive psychopath Ava Lord, a handful of names had been attached off and on over the years, the most prominent being Angelina Jolie, who'd been linked to the role going all the way back to when the first film came out. In 2007, Rosario Dawson said Rodriguez was waiting for the non-pregnant Jolie to have her baby before he could move ahead with the film. Jolie herself commented on the speculation and noted her interest in tackling such a sexy role post-baby, joking that it would be a nice movie to do after her child's birth. While she did indeed seem like perfect casting at the time, Jolie never did venture to Bassin City. Aside from Angelina, the most prominent name attached to the role was Rachel Weisz, then best known for her work in the first two Mummy films. How close that came to being a reality isn't for us to say, but regardless, it did not come to fruition. Supposedly, Rodriguez's old pal Salma Hayek was also in the running, but that didn't end up happening either. In January of 2013, it was officially announced that the role had gone to Eva Green, with the press release colorfully noting Ava Lord was, quote, every man's glorious dream come true, and also every man's darkest nightmare. With the cast all set, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For was supposed to hit theaters in October 2012, but while shooting was still going on during the summer, the release date was pushed back almost a full year to August 2014, a little under 10 years since the first film. The film generated some early controversy, or perhaps positive buzz, that June when the MPAA banned a sexy poster of Eva Green that they felt showed too much skin. Officially, the reason for this was, quote, curve of the underbreast and dark nipple/areola circle visible through sheer gown. To which we ask, and that's an issue because? For her part, Green didn't understand the controversy, and noted that if people had a problem with the poster, they'd probably have a problem with the entire film, which she didn't see as being exploitative in the slightest. As for the fact that she's nude throughout most of the movie, Green noted that she didn't think it was gratuitous, insisting that the way Ava uses her sexuality is an essential part of her devious character. Before we continue with our video, here's a reminder to click the store tab on any of our JoBlo channels and browse our collection of the latest and freshest designs in our merch store. Go get you some. Sin City: A Dame to Kill For finally arrived in theaters on August 22nd, 2014. Perhaps it was that 9-year wait, but the sequel landed with a brutal thud, opening in 8th place with only $6.5 million. Considering the budget this time was a lot bigger, reportedly around $65 million, that thud truly hurt. Even the Weinstein Company, the distributor, couldn't sugarcoat their disappointment, with the head of theatrical distribution admitting they weren't prepared for such a level of rejection from the public. The bombing of A Dame to Kill For stirred up some hurt feelings, and a series of lawsuits followed the dismal opening. A year after its release, Robert Rodriguez sued some of the producers of the film for $7.7 million, claiming they had committed a breach of contract by not paying money owed to him and his company. He dropped the lawsuit several months later, but the same producers turned right around and sued him back to the tune of over $20 million for cost overruns and production delays allegedly caused by Rodriguez on the film, which they believably claimed they made no money on. Of course, it didn't seem anybody did. Another lawsuit was brought on by those same producers in 2019, this time against the Weinstein Company, claiming the distributor was too busy promoting their film The Giver when they had agreed to put more resources into the PR for A Dame to Kill For. The suit alleged that the Weinsteins had promised to spend $30 million on Sin City, but only pledged about 10% of that. They were ultimately awarded $17.4 million in damages, though. None of those legal shenanigans might have been necessary had the film been a hit, but it most certainly was not a hit. So what went wrong? Too many years between films? Had the first film's novel look become stale? Was there never much of an interest in a follow-up to begin with beyond those hardcore fans of the books? There have been rumors of a Sin City TV show floating around for a while, but as of the making of this video, we're still waiting to see how that pans out. As with any metropolis filled with sordid characters and their unseemingly deeds, there are millions of stories waiting to be told from Sin City. Question is, do we want to hear them? Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.